Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Stick around for some great music, okay? We're it's not really a review. Actually, it's a great honor because we're going to actually be joined by the creator of Portuguese Cowboys, the new album. You've heard the title track before and you're going to hear it again. And I'm going to kick off with that. I'm going to just breathe and take in Portuguese Cowboys by way of starting the Iberian FM phone-in today and treat you again to the wonderful video that's been made for this track. And we'll play two more tracks from the album. You can get your copy at Bandcamp, where Ron Rogers is selling his album. 8 tracks, 8 fantastic tracks of Ron Rogers music. He's getting ready in the green room now. Sorry, I'm sure you've been in much better green rooms than this one, Ron Rogers. But we're looking forward to talking to you. There's the Bandcamp link for buying Ron's album, Portuguese Cowboys. And we're going to start with the title track because it has a wonderful video to go with it. And then we'll be having a chat and playing 2 more tracks from said album. I'm really looking forward to this morning on Iberian FM. Stick with us. Enjoy this wonderful track and the video that goes with it. We'll be right back after this.
Everything was slowing down. I was stuck in the machine. Everything was spinning round. All you Portuguese cowboys, you can find me underground. I turned my amplifier all the way on 10, and you'll never hear a sound.
what a fantastic video. So many talented people involved in that. The star of that show, the star of this show today is Ron Rogers. So let's give him a nice big round of applause. He's here with us now. Hey, Ron, how are you? Lovely to meet you. Oh, I've frozen up there, but I think you can still hear me. So how are you today?
Oh, I'm pretty good. It's kind of early.
Of course it is. I'm so sorry to put you through this. You're so rock and roll, mate. So yeah, here we are, just after 10 o'clock. I'm gonna put you on the spot now and ask you a few questions, despite it being a little bit early, as you say. You are in Porto today, are you?
I am. Porto.
So how long you been rocking, where you been rocking, and how did you get to be in Porto? Let's start with the first one. I mean, I think you've had an amazing musical career. I was reading about it. This is your 5th album, isn't it, that you've created here?
Yeah, well, I think there's probably more like 6 or 7, but there's a couple of them that haven't been released. So yeah, I made a few recordings.
Safe to say. Fantastic. Where did it all begin? Where are you from?
Well, I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. And so I just in high school, I got the music bug and started playing the guitar and lived in Texas until 1989. My wife and I, Deborah, we left Austin and moved to LA for 15 years. And then I moved to Portland, but I was recording the whole time. I was doing all that. I've always had a home studio starting in about 1980. I'm kind of hooked on recording. I just love recording. I like it better than playing live, although I've played live a lot. I don't know. It's just an addiction, Carl. You can't stop.
So, well, I'm glad. I'm so glad.
Once you get the music bug, and I think all my fellow musicians and songwriters and artists out there will, I'm sure, agree with me that once you get bit by the bug, there's no turning back, really.
Yeah, lovely comments while we played your video there, which is a superb video, and of course showcases Porto. Love this song, so haunting, great song, nice riff at the end there. T-Duck describes himself as an honorary Texan, lived there for 7 years. So
Thunder Duck, that's a name.
It sure is. He's a regular here, and so much of this wouldn't be possible without him. He loves the hill country, he says.
Yeah, sure.
You know that?
Wimberley.
Yeah, okay. So some fellow Texans here on the screen. So how did you get to be in Portugal then, Ron?
Well, Deborah and I have this thing about every 15 years we pick up and move somewhere. We lived in Austin 15 years. We lived in LA 15 years. And we lived in Portland 16 years. So moving in on about year 15 in Portland, we were like, well, what are we going to do next? We need to go do something else. And we joined a group called Portland to Portugal in Portland. It was started by a friend of ours, Mary Martins. And we came over for a visit. We came over for a month in 2019. And we just really liked Portugal, really liked Porto. Wanted to be able to travel more in Europe. And this is such a good place to base yourself. And, just looking for something else, Carl. I don't know what it is. But,
it kind of matches your creativity as a songwriter, I think. So a bit of a lifelong quest, and maybe even an addiction for new experiences. You say, like writing is an addiction for you, and maybe gathering new experiences.
Could be. What brought you to Portugal?
I'm from the UK and I was actually wanting to get away from the UK. And a lot of UK people moved to France or Spain, and then someone suggested to me I might take a look at Portugal as well, and the rest is history. So yeah, I'm delighted to be here. And as soon as I got here, I thought I would start a podcast, and it's turned into this. And clearly, as soon as you got here with your instruments, you put yourself in the studio. I mean, how long have you actually been in Portugal?
3 years.
Right, and so presumably you got connected with or brought over your friends who are musicians, and you got into the studio pretty quickly.
Well, so with COVID and the lockdown, getting together and playing with people was kind of hard to do, right?
Yeah. For sure.
So with the internet and all, I can sit in my studio here and lay down a guitar track and a vocal. And on the Portuguese Cowboys, I have a friend in LA, Don Fisher, that I played with for years, and he's also a Texan. So I sent him the track of me singing and playing the guitar, and he put the drums on it in his studio over there. Then he just sends the files back to me, and I put it together here. Then I sent it to a guy, Emery Wilson, that I played with in Portland, and he put the bass on it.
Wonderful.
And then I played the keyboards and the guitar, and Deborah sang on it with me, and that's how we did it.
That's amazing. Because I'm reading the sleeve notes, it says that 3 of the tracks are made in the States and 5 are made here, but they're kind of they're hybrids, and they're made in both places, presumably. Then, or are you referring to the kind of mastering and finishing process?
I recorded. I recorded 2. I recorded 3 of the songs while I was still in the States. Yes, but they were not finished.
Uh-huh.
And so I just kind of had them in the can, and then finished them out here by adding some guitars and keyboards and whatever. Amazing. So 3 of the songs were cut in the States, and I had never released them on an album. So anyway, I wanted to get them out there. I thought they were good songs, and so I just finished them up. And then the others I cut here. Yeah, they were all conceived and recorded. The basics were cut here in Porto, and I had one guy in Nashville play drums, and I had a guy in Houston play tablas and flute. I had people in Portland and LA. An old friend of mine, Fred Bova, played steel guitar and bass on a song, and he's in Connecticut.
Incredible.
So I sent it to him.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, so it's from all over the place.
Yeah, and another friend of ours, Michael Bliss. I see he's on
Yes.
key and singing on the album as well. So you got
He
to meet
is.
Michael Porto.
Yeah, Michael. We met he and Cheryl here and their daughter, Eliana. Yeah, Michael is an amazing keyboard, amazing singer. Michael's got an amazing voice. He contributed to two of the songs, I think. I think he's on 2. But yeah, Michael's great. Jeez, I'm so happy that we met him.
Yeah, he's a wonderful man. Give him Cheryl our love when you see him next in Porto. Is there a bit of a scene developing in Porto then, would you say?
Oh, I am having a hard time finding a scene.
Oh, okay. Right.
There seems to be clubs and musicians who play, copy songs. They play songs from the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, but there's not much of a scene for original music.
Okay. All right.
So we have been looking for a place to play, and I have met I did cut some songs with a Portuguese drummer and a Portuguese bass player. That the drummer has a drum school right up the street from me, and I went up there and we cut some live tracks there, and that was pretty cool. Yeah, and they're very, very good musicians. They're excellent and good people too. So who knows? I don't know, I will. You will be one of the first to know if I
absolutely. Please let us know, Ron, if that happens. But I take your point there. There are a lot of covers bands, and that's a very rich and interesting scene here in Portugal. There's a great love of music from around the world, from the States and of course from the UK. And you get bands in all over the place in Portugal playing those tracks and loving them, and highly competent musicians. But interesting that you should say that. I want to put you in touch with the guy at the gin distillery, because I'm thinking that might be quite a nice. Or is he a rum or it's a rum distillery in Porto, isn't it? And I know he makes gin as well. And he's built the most beautiful place there. It could be a good live music venue and the start of that scene we're talking about as well.
That'd be cool.
Squire of the Shires. Yeah, rum and gin sounds all right, doesn't it, to go with the music? My dad is a player and strummer too, Ron. And the Alentejo, Thunderduck says, reminds me a lot of Central Texas. Ron, do you ever dabble in bluegrass? Well, hold that question if you don't mind, because I want to play another track. We're already 20 minutes in, and I was going to play 3 tracks from your album, and it's been a tough job, Ron, picking which ones. They're all crackers, the 8 tracks that you've got on the Portuguese Cowboys album. We love the title track, and we've been playing it for a few months now. And it was a real struggle to pick 3. Portuguese Cowboys is obviously shoo-in to be played on the show. And I've got 2 others. I was saying before you came on and earlier on in the show that my personal, or what I thought was a problem for musicians was being likened to other musicians. So I won't do that to you today. And being reduced to a one-line soundbite for an album review. I've done mine anyway. Mine, if I may share it with you, is Portuguese Cowboys glows with strong, skillful, and seasoned musicianship. The melodies are from the get-go catchy and delightfully engaging, with Ron's lyrics both intriguing and poignant. A journey, a treat, and of rare quality. And that's why we love what you do so much, and that's why we want to play a track now, if we may. What I've gone with, Ron, is for my second track is Sink or Float. So I'm going to play that now, and I'm going to scroll around on your website so people can find out a bit more about you while we're listening to Sink or Float, and we'll be right back after that, if that's all right with you, Ron.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, let's do that. But that is the track. If you could tell us a bit about that. I can only recommend it at the moment until I found out a way of playing it, which I think I can
Sink or Float.
Sink or Float.
Oh gosh, that's another one of my running commentaries on what a mess everything seems to be.
Right.
Okay. I wish I could say that I was optimistic about everything that's going on in the world. So Sink or Float. I don't know. That was a fun song to write, because I was kind of talking about negative things, but I was trying to say it in a kind of a funny kind of way, I guess. I don't know.
Which is, I think, what you.
It's hard to analyze stuff that you write. I don't.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
It's hard for me to explain or talk about how I write songs. They just kind of pop out.
No, I understand that. And they speak for themselves, don't they? So let me try again. I found a different way, I think, of playing the track Sink or Float. Let's see if it works. Tell us, T-Duck, if you can hear this.
Yeah, I'm here.
Much better. Okay, we'll shut our mics.
Gonna see what sinks and floats. We get out of those leaky boats. All these times with you and Eddie. Shoved off in a ship of hope. Came home in a fog of dope. Now we can hear what the blind man sees. Lessons learned but never shared. Like souls in pain but never been. Tell the children to use their words. They flit around like dirty birds. The new troubadour can't play no. The Lone Ranger's got his mask. You know I didn't have to ask. Tonto's got him by the throat. You know, if the truth be told, Kemosabe means asshole. The Hellcasters only play black keys while jamming out with the deportees. Have the teen levels of present foes. Take your cover, leave you exposed. All the best chaperones are good. We're jamming with the Pilgrim's Pride. The Chinese got chicken fried. The shade at midnight came unplugged. Showing weakness to the overlords. Get you baptized and suspended course.
I'm so glad we found a way to play that, because that would have been awful to promise everybody 3 tracks. We heard the video, of course, of Portuguese Cowboys, and there you hear Sink or Flow. I can't not ask you about this. You say you're not very positive about the world. What do you mean, Ron? Do you not find life a little bit more positive here in Portugal, in Porto? Are you talking about more about the global scene?
Well, I guess I'm talking about the global scene. I probably shouldn't keep up with news from the United States. That's probably what's wrong.
You and others, I'm sure.
Because everybody, half the people over there have lost it, so.
Yeah.
I don't know, Carl.
And
I'm sorry I even said that about being negative. I know that makes me seem like an old curmudgeon.
Well, there's a place for that, isn't there? And I think if what happens is your curmudgeonliness is turned into the beautiful creativity that we just heard, there can't be anything wrong with that. And I agree with. I'm much the same. I like to limit my exposure to where I've come from in the UK, and I have a very similar feeling about it. So yes, glad to be then, by the sound of it, here in Porto, which is where our guest today, Ron Rogers, is based, and over here from a background in Texas and Portland, Oregon as well. Go on, carry on, Ron.
Well, I was going to say that I'm very happy here. Deborah and I find it really easy to live here. The Portuguese people are extremely friendly and have been very helpful. We have great neighbors. Love the weather here. The weather here reminds me of Los Angeles, Portland, kind of the West Coast kind of, ocean thing, and it's real comfortable to live here. I suspect I will be here a long time.
Oh, so glad to hear that. So glad to, and I want you to be like part of this Porto scene that we were sort of, I don't know, mourning the lack of at the moment. But I want you and Michael Bliss and others to be part of that and to visit.
Michael Bliss and I have been talking a lot lately about trying to start some kind of original music scene here. And we found a couple places that we think we could do it. And also the drummer, Ricardo Benito, who has his drum school up the street, I was actually over there talking to him yesterday, and he brought up about us playing. So, it's something that's being talked about.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. On that note, do you have any upcoming shows? I think Thunderduck may want to pop up to Porto. Because you said before that you prefer the recording process to playing live. Is that the reason why you're not so keen on doing live shows here?
No. So part of my thing is I like to have a band. I don't really like to play by myself, just me and a guitar. That is just not fun for me. I like to interact with other musicians. And so I just, 3 years in, I'm starting to meet people. I think it's just, getting out there and meeting people. The pandemic, just a lot of clubs in Porto got shut down, went out of business because of the pandemic. So I think that Porto's kind of just getting back on its feet as far as live music goes.
Yes. Okay. Well, maybe.
So anyway, but it's something that is on my mind,
Okay. Okay,
So,
and rolling these themes together then of playing live and the point that was made about how the state of the world, if you like, because T-Duck was saying the world situation is depressing, but it makes for great music. Often, it would seem that in difficult times in the world, that is a great outpouring of creativity, and not only that, but
I agree with that.
Yeah, and also social movement, of course, and a move towards better, higher ideals that are expressed in a music scene. So who knows, do you feel positive about that? How important music has been in the past to change the consciousness of a society? Because God knows we need it right now, don't we?
Yes, we do. I think there's a lot of good music out there. There's so much music out there. It's hard to find it. I mean, you have to listen to a lot of music to find new music that you like, or I do.
Yeah.
But I'm optimistic. There's always going to be great music. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday about the whole AI thing. They said, now AI is creating art and all this. And for me, that just makes people who actually create like I do, I think it's better for us.
I agree.
Because I don't care how good something is that AI does. It's not going to be as good as an artist, somebody who paints a painting or picks up a guitar and sings. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's just
yeah, totally agree with you, Ron, because it's connected again, isn't it, with the consciousness that music can inspire and encourage, that changes the world, that changes people individually and can change societies, and how important music has been in the last 100 years, for example.
That's true.
I don't see that AI can deliver that spark that is the spark of inspiration. It can copy data, can't it? But it doesn't have the thing that you're talking about.
Exactly.
That's absolutely wonderful to hear that from you. Somebody who's not.
It's that crazy idea that pops out of your head.
Yeah.
I don't think AI is going to have that crazy idea.
No, however hard they try and program that in, I think that is part of us, part of our unique humanness in this whole landscape and crazy times that we live in that we're referring to here. Back to the bluegrass question then. There is a festival coming up in September. Do you dabble in bluegrass? Do you like bluegrass? We have someone coming over, a great fan and player in bluegrass. What's your connection with that musical genre?
Bluegrass. I like bluegrass. There's so many different genres of music. I wouldn't say that it's my, one of my favorites, but there certainly are a lot of accomplished bluegrass musicians. I have a friend in the States, Alan Mundy. He's a banjo player. He played with he played with a famous bluegrass band, Country Gazette. And I used to hang out with him in Austin, and he's like a lot of musicians. You know, bluegrass was his thing, but he could play anything. He could play any kind of music. And I think that's the deal. I think you can like any and every kind of music, and you can have one thing that you do. But I think that if you're a well-rounded musician, you're going to be able to appreciate all genres of music.
I agree.
So,
Absolutely. And I imagine that.
But I'm not. But am I a huge bluegrass fan? No, I'm not a huge bluegrass fan. You know, my thing is I like psychedelic music from the '60s, and I guess you can probably tell that from listening to my album.
Yes, I can. Absolutely. And
to me, that was the beginning of my music addiction was back then. So I can't get away from it.
And great offerings from both sides of the Atlantic, I would say. I have a friend,
absolutely.
DJ, I have a DJ friend in the UK, and that's his thing: psychedelic music from both sides of the water from the '60s. Incredible music.
So, there's a Spotify playlist that I listen to called "For What It's Worth," and it's all British psychedelic music that never saw the light of day. I never heard any of this stuff in the States.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
Yeah. T-Duck saying I was a Deadhead too. And I sent him a lyric that I heard when I was listening again to the album this morning. There's a lyric that says airplane and dead, I think, from one of your tracks. So I had to send that to T-Duck because he's a Deadhead.
Yeah. The ancient jukebox in my head plays the airplane and the dead.
I heard that. So it stood out for me this morning as I was listening to the album again. It's been so. I'm keeping you past the 10:30 here. Thank you for being with us so early in the morning, Ron. As you said before. Oh, big fan of Midland as well. I want to ask you one more question, if I may. Somewhat random. It refers to your biog on the website there, and you were a staff writer for Ireland, were you? Chris Blackwell's label.
Yes.
What's it like being a staff writer?
2 years. Oh, you know, it wasn't like I went to work every day. It wasn't like I showed up and sat down and wrote. I just wrote and recorded songs and sent them in, and they, you know, and I got paid. I got paid for 2 years for being on staff, but that was about it. Mm-hmm. I had some I was living in Austin, and my nearest contact was LA, so it was just kind of a thing, you know. Nothing really ever came out of it other than I got to meet some people and made some money.
Very nice. Not to be sneezed at then. And going back to the AI briefly then, and record companies, and, you know, being paid like that and being on the staff of a corporation. I imagine the record companies would quite like the sound of an AI song generator. But do they exist anymore, Ron? You know, the going back to the 60s and 70s, probably the height and apex of all that was good and great about music and the music industry. Do record companies, publishing companies exist in the way that we're just referring to there with staff writers?
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe they do. No.
Right. So it's gone now.
I think it's gone. Yeah. I don't really know how it works these days, to tell you the truth. I know that to make any money, if you're a songwriter or a recording artist, the way to make money is to get your songs in a movie or on television, in a commercial, and go out and play live.
Yeah.
Selling records and songs is extremely difficult these days. People don't really want to buy. They get it free. They're not used to paying for music.
That's what's happened, isn't it? Certainly, youngsters can't. The youngest of the music lovers these days won't remember going to the record store to buy their gatefold album, bring it home, all excited, opening it up, putting the record on the record deck, and opening up that gatefold to have a look at it. They just don't know about that, do they? And you're absolutely right.
That was fun, man. I used to love to do that.
Me too. And you would sit and listen to it, wouldn't you? You wouldn't be skipping through like you can with solid state music.
No, you'd listen from the first track, and then you'd flip it over and listen to the end.
Yeah. And some people tuned in don't even know what we're talking about there, Ron.
Right.
If I can squeeze a quickie in as well, are you aware of Gerald Weber? T Duck is asking.
No.
Okay.
No, I'll check him out.
All right. And so finally then, and we'll go out with your tune, but thank you so much for being here. I'm going to play my final selection, Call Me Late, which I think is nice and upbeat for a Feel Good Friday. But Ron was saying there, people are used to getting music free. How about buying Ron's album? It's on Bandcamp. That's the link to do it. 8 great tracks. It was a real struggle for me to choose 3 of the best from those 8. Ron, thank you so much for being here. Will you keep us aware of what you're doing? We're big fans of your music, and we would love to share it.
Hey, Carl, I want to thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot.
Well, it's a pleasure, absolute pleasure. So
I'll be in touch.
Yeah, please do, and have a great day up there. Send our love to Porto, to the Blisses, and have a great weekend. Bon fin de semana. Lovely to meet you.
Okay, see you later.
Man. Bye for now. I'm going to find that track and play that. Ciao, ciao. How wonderful. There is Ron Rogers. There's the website, and the link for buying the album is on the screen as well, ronrogers.bandcamp.com, and I'm going to play it as I suggested. With my final cut from the album, my final pick. The first was Portuguese Cowboys that you heard. Then we had Sink or Float. Finally, eventually, when I was able to get it onto the mixing desk via my phone, as it turns out, not the Gatefold album on the record deck. And my final selection then is Call Me Late, which is a nice upbeat number for this Feel Good Friday. Let me play that for you now. There we go. Yay!
What's your name? That's what everybody says. What's your game? I'm trying to figure out what that is. Where you been? Where you going? Everybody wants to know. When I say I'm leaving, they call me so-and-so. You can call me Johnson. You can call me Jay. You can call me Little Ricky. You can call me Roderick. Honey, when you call me, just call me Lane. What I'm thinking, everybody wants to know. How do I sleep at night if I cause they both alone? With my mouth wide open like some little kid. Well, honey, you don't know, but I wish you did. You can call me Johnson, you can call me Jay, you can call me Little Ricky, you can call me Roderick. But honey, when you call me, just call me Lane. Call me Lane, pretty baby. Call me Lane. Call me Lane, pretty baby. That's the price I pay for being in this place. Someday I'll be enlisted, and I won't that be a bore. Until then, feel free to telephone that I don't get home till 4. You can call me Johnson, you can call me Jay,
Wells Fargo presents one of the surest ways to grow your money. A Wells Fargo CD account, where you can earn a 5.00% annual percentage yield on an 11-month term with a minimum opening deposit of $5,000. Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/CD rates to open a CD account and start growing your savings with us.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.